McCart, and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here because I'm going to be doing another Lazy Susan. And as you probably can determine from the teaser, it started out as a bloom blowout and then ended up an open cup. So let's see how all this evolved. So if you've been following me, you know that I've had trouble with Lazy Susans lately, the ones that I've been getting from IKEA. So in an act of haste and anger, I went out to the home goods store to pick up a different type of Lazy Susan, and I ended up with a very different, completely different style that would assure me of no warping. So here I'm just showing you the backside and my taping job as I'm preparing it before I turn it over to show you what this looks like from the top and what I end up doing to fix the top so that I can hopefully paint on it. So here I'm just giving you an up close and personal look at how I tape these edges off on these Lazy Susans, because I don't think I show that very often. I just show what it looks like when it's done. But I just take the tape and follow it along the edge, and I use my right finger as like the guide that squeezes it down right up to the edge so I don't have anything exposed from the back. I do this before I paint so that I don't have any kind of bleed over onto the backside from paint or from resin when I ultimately resin. I'm going to go on fast speed here as I show you the rest of this process. But basically, you want to make sure you do cover the back up so that when you're either picking it up after painting or that any of the drips or any of the resin drips don't adhere to the back. And so you have a nice clean back when you're all finished. So I'm just going to keep going here, and then I will go into my actual beginning, and you'll see the whole process from start to finish, from how I started with a bloom and how I ended up with an open cup. This is what I'm going to be painting on. Now, it's got some relief to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some kills over the top of this to try to get the surface as flat as possible. And you know what? I might end up with some relief anyway, but no matter what, I'm going to be resining this. So I will be putting kills on here, and when I come back for the next part, I will be doing the creation, hopefully later today, because I am in a mindset I want to get something that works. And today I'm going to try it again, because this color combination is so good. I mean, this will be great if I can get this to work. All right, so what I've got here, this is a bloom technique. This is my pillow. It's my Glidden GLN6011N. I just decanted it, and it's a little thinner than normal. Now, you've heard me say I usually like my pillow to be, 3 or 4 seconds trace. This is maybe two, which is much thinner than I would normally go with. But I'll tell you what, that's not the problem with the Lazy Susan over there. I just got through doing 4 coasters that are perfect. So I'm not worried about that being too thin. I am worried about these things not working the same anymore. So I'll call out my colors as I go. I'm going to lay my paints down, and we will start up. I'm going to, and this is kills on top. This is kills. Let me show you what it is. It is a primer, sealer, stain blocker. Let's hope it can seal. Do I want to add more? I think I'll go stay with this. Here's my scrap paint. I'm going to use this for ornaments because I got more orders for ornaments. All right, let's get laying some paint down. This here is my Color Arts Love You Pink, Artez's Pearl Hot Pink, and Artist's Loft Light Magenta. So let's find the center. Lay this down. So what I'm going to do here is double time through this because, truth be told, this does not survive, as you can tell from the beginning of this video. This color palette is from video 450 if you want to take a look at that from the last coaster set that I created. But I'm going to show you this process because it's always good to show you the process of a Lazy Susan blowout. I'm going to do a very abbreviated version of it, but just so you can see it, it's always good, and I'll talk through it as we go. This is my 3rd try on a Lazy Susan with this color palette, so I'm beginning to think it's jinxed. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to lay down my cell activator. This is my Australian. Because I have so much Australian, I've just got to use it up. So I do have an American Floetrol cell activator. It's video 141 if you want to see my recipe. and you want to see how I make it. So I'm going to lay down my cell activator. I'm going to blow into the middle to get it started with my lungs. And then I'm going to use my Berta, which is here, to 1,000 watt. I got it off Amazon. It's got a cool setting on here. I don't have a link to it because they no longer have this on Amazon, but it's 1,000 watts. So it's not horribly, hugely powerful. All right, here we go. Let's get the cell activator down, then we're going to be off to the races. Right in the middle. That's the white. Here's the black. Right in the middle. Notice how much I put down. It's not a lot. Here we go. So on these Lazy Susans, I've started blowing them out initially with my lungs to start to get that puddle to spread out in as much of a circle as possible and get things moving. Once I start seeing things open up a little bit like you see there, I move to the hairdryer, and what I'm doing there is just moving a little step stool so I have a little higher angle on this as I get ready to blow it out with the Berta 1,000 watt hairdryer. And once again, I just aim my hairdryer right at where the cell activator hits the paints, and I try to skim that cell activator out over the top of the paints, at the same time pushing with the hairdryer the paints out over the pillow until I get it to spread out in as much of a nice circle as possible across this Lazy Susan. Of course, never going all the way to the edge because I leave the stretching out of the composition to the spinning. So yeah, I'm almost done here with the blowout, and I will be back in a second. I'm going to add any more. So I'm just going to talk over the top of this as I'm stretching out the paint and spinning it out. Very quickly, I'm going to get to the end. And the reason why I'm cutting right through this is I wanted to show you what it looked like. I was really optimistic here, but then as it dried, that relief that was in the initial Lazy Susan just showed through. Now, I was really trying hard to get this color combination to work out for me. And I did 2 prior Lazy Susans that warped on me, and I'm hoping that time will eventually flatten them out. And I've even put some weights on them, and we'll see what happens. Inches big, but it's got these scallops in there. So here's a reminder of what it looked like, and while those scallops are only slightly raised, it was enough to really affect everything. Plus, after killing it with the primer and then using the pillow paint, I thought that would be enough to get it to lay flat, but it didn't. And then even so, the scallop relief showed through on this. There. And I went to this because they didn't have any other options for me. They had wood. I wasn't going to use a wood Lazy Susan. I wanted something that looked like it would be warp proof. So this is what I ended up with. And I thought I could work it out. But the bloom on here, it just didn't turn out well. The bloom is just not working on that kind of shape with the recesses. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try an open cup, and with another layer of paint, the open cup, and then resining. That might just make this work out. So that's what I'm going to do today. I haven't done an open cup in a while, but I'm going to do it today. And here we go. I've got an old, this is my regular, like it's a regular 2-ounce cup. It's a 2-ounce cup. All I did was I cut the bottom out, and I'll be using that as my cup. I did level this out. We'll see if it stays level as we go. I don't know why it wouldn't, but I've done these a few times and they've tilted. So I've got my colors, and my colors are all poured. Let me get this. They're all mixed with this 50/50 Floetrol to gloss pouring medium by Liquitex. Since I don't normally do these things, I'm just going to show you everything I'm using. This is what I used, 50/50 of these two. Okay, so my colors, my space gray from Arteza, which is this one. This is my consistency, kind of a mound on a mound in there. And that's a metallic. This is another metallic. This is gold. And it is Modern Masters Iridescent Gold. This is my Pearl Pistachio by Arteza. I normally don't take the time to show you guys, but I figure since this is unusual, I'm going to this time. This is my Mystical Green by Modern Masters. And now you've seen the consistency. I'm going to keep going. This is a combination of these two. I used my Treasure Gold Fire Opal, and I added to it some of this very old antique bronze from Modern Masters. I got this like 3 years ago. I'm trying to use it up. So it started out really on a more red side. I wanted to brown it up a little bit, so that's why I added the bronze. And then this is just some titanium white and with some of this added to it. This Pearl Deco Art Metallic. I've got my slop bucket over here, which is old strained slop paint. This will be my extender. So as I start pouring this out and I'm getting ready to stretch it, I will have extra paint to pour on the edges. And this is just some white I'm going to use. And I don't know which one this is. This is probably Amsterdam. Or maybe Artist Slop. Anyway, it's titanium white mixed with the same combination, and I'm going to start that off in the middle. So give me a chance to clean up my area, and I'll be back in a second. I'm back. I got all my paints over here. I figure with 16 inches, I need about 8 ounces to fully cover this entire thing. So I'm going to start, and I'm excited because I haven't done one of these in a while. So let's just get this started. I'm going to start right in the middle. And I'm hoping I can resurrect this thing. I'll pour some around the edges just to kind of seal it in. And I'm kind of curious what the relief in here is going to do with how the open cup is going to work. All right. All right, I'm going to start with black, and let's get going. I don't have a lot in here, but I have enough to certainly get through this creation. And the fun thing about these open cups is that they start to move on their own, and it's kind of like it takes a life on. You kind of have to kind of get a feel for where it's going and what it's doing. And I'll probably go on fast forward as we go through this. See, it takes on a life of its own. It starts going off in whatever direction it wants to. I'll have to move it around in a minute. So obviously I'm going on fast speed here. You've seen all the colors, I've introduced them all, and I'm just continuing to go pretty much in the same order throughout the rest of this. And as you see, it does take a life of its own, and it starts to wander in whatever direction that it wants to go, even though I did level this out. So I keep fighting it and pushing it back toward the center because I'm not ready to stretch it out at this point. So I just keep going from different heights. The higher you go, the more the paint will churn in the cup as it comes out. I'm looking for cells, and I don't seem to be getting too much here. So yeah, I'm just swishing it around a little bit, adding more paint, moving it around, and we'll just keep going. I'm going to put on some music here for a second. So here I'm just adding the flow extender, that recycled strain scraps, and there I'm just taking off the cup. I'm going to add a little more of the flow extender, and I'll be ready to spin it out here in a second. All right, we'll give it a torch, clear the deck. So here I'm giving it a torch to try to conjure up some of the air bubbles to try to get some cells, but I'm not seeing much reaction with this. I'm thinking that the Modern Masters paint is probably not the best for cell making. Maybe Modern Masters paint is not the right paint for this. give it a little spin. Whoa. All right, I'll let it go. Let's let it go. I just want to salvage this lazy Susan. Okay, let me add some more float paint over here. Let's give it another spin. See, you can use the open cup and create really cool stuff. The open cup is pretty easy. It's probably the easiest technique out there. Just hoping I'm going to get some cells. Just so you know, I'm going to cut out some of the spinning here. Really like that to go away a little bit. I'll give it a torch in the meantime. Note to self, Modern Masters does not want to sell up. I'm going to cheat it in that direction. Hoping this is going to evolve. It's growing on me. There's a lot of action happening in here. It's moving around. So I had no good cutoff point with this. So what I'm going to show you right here are the final wet results, and then I'm going to lead right into what I do next. So here I'm going to show you what I did, and as I zoom over, you can still see the relief that's present and that is ever present, because even as the paint's dried, it once again followed some of the pattern of that relief. But what I'm showing you here is the 24 karat gold that I applied, and I tried to follow the lines that were given to me from the creation itself. So I ended up applying 2 lines of gold throughout this, just to give it a little more bling, because I know when I resin this, the center and all the subtle colors of the greens will pop up, but I wanted something to be a little more pizzazzy before I go into the resin phase, because currently as it looks right now, this is really dull. And here we are. I'm going to show you finally the resin results. So yeah, here's the resin results, and as I said, once I resin this, all those subtle colors really pop up, and that gold really brings a lot of pizzazz to this, and you'll see those subtle colors as we go over this. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You got a 2-for-1 here just because that relief did not work out very well with the bloom. But I think in the end, this is a very different and unusual piece for me. Certainly something somebody will love somewhere out there, and always doing something different is often very good. So if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell on all. You'll get all my latest art tutorials. At the end, I will link other Lazy Susans with my Lazy Susan playlist. And that is all for now, everybody. Take care. Till next time.